Okay, there we go. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
You
you.
look
We're
like
doing a
a
little photo
goddess.
shoot today. So,
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me. I'm really, really excited. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I discovered you not so long ago. Can you hear me well?
now I can. Something was going on and I was like, I can't hear well, but I pressed the right button now.
Okay, so I'm not gonna like, did you hear me thanking you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna lie, I discovered you not so long ago, thanks to one of my followers on Twitter. She tagged you under one of my tweets in which I asked my followers who their favorite tarot reader is. And so she tagged you. And on that day, I spent like the whole evening checking your socials and who you were. I know sisters, but I didn't know who Novi Brown was.
Yes.
And I gotta say, I immediately fell in love with your character and
Thank
especially your brain and your knowledge. Yeah, be it your spiritual knowledge or the knowledge that you have about yourself. I'm really
you.
heavy on self-discovery and all things spiritual on my end. And so I wanted to ask you, what prompted your intentional self-discovery journey or the discovery of your own spirituality, depending on how you'd like to call it? Can you tell us a little bit about how that a specific moment unfolded? How were you feeling? How old were you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful. There's a few moments in my life that absolutely informed my curiosity. My mother has always been an avid traveler and she's been out in the world, doing her thing. And I was on a plane by myself at 6 years old. So I think that has a lot to do with my personality and who I am, just my outlook on life, my willingness to just go out into the world. A lot of my friends and family members like to coin me as fearless, and I didn't realize that's what I was, and I just thought I was a curious person. I want to go out in the world. I want to go do things, whatever. But for me, I guess having those moments of trust within the universe, like traveling from one country to another, knowing two languages at a young age, having to kind of live between two worlds. And then, as the older you get, those become more complex within themselves. The world of a woman, the world of a woman of color, the world, like it gets just so many more things. And throughout my life, I had just been connecting with people in different various ways. I was one of those people that would get approached on the street by a stranger in a different language to ask me which direction they should go in. And I always thought that was really interesting because I lived in cities my whole life and there's always thousands of people around. Why did this stranger come up to me? And so those like moments of curiosity led me to my spirituality. And there was definitely moments where me and God was not on the same page. Okay. I was not with it. I did not understand it, especially when you're young and you see so much suffering going on and so much hatred and so much vitriol. It's things you cannot explain. And when I finally started diving into my spiritual journey, and a lot of people call that owning your shadow side, owning the other side of who you are, meaning that you own the other portion of humanity just as much as you own the greatness and the goodness. Yeah. And when I really started pouring into that, and especially being an actor, I cannot judge my characters. I'm not in the space to do that. I'm in the space to live that character. So it was a lot of those combinations of, wow, why do I see so much hurt and suffering and pain? Wow, why can I connect to this stranger so easily? Wow, why are these narratives so poignant that a stranger believes them, whether they're good or bad or neutral? Wow, like where do I fit into this conversation? And so, and then it was a lot of blaming universe and God and spirit, like it's your fault, it's all on you. But then you're like, hold on, I got two hands, two legs, like I think I got all the tools that I need, And so I just started coming to this space, especially in my creative journey. As an artist, you just wonder, why the hell do I want to do this? Why do I want to risk putting my image up for debate, or why do I want to risk my privacy? Why do I want to risk so many different aspects of who I am? And then you just realize it's bigger than you. You know, it's just way bigger than what you even envisioned. That's why we all were gifted a dream. We've all been gifted a seed that we're supposed to plant and sow and like harvest. And that's gonna die sometimes, and it's not gonna turn out great sometimes, you know, and you're just gonna have to redo it again. So that's been a lot of my spiritual journey, is having, when I got more real with myself, aka accepting the shadow side, accepting that humans have so many different complexities and facets to them, that there's no room for judgment. That's when I could start being more honest with God. And that's when I started having a really deeper relationship with spirituality, because I realized, oh, this is not about perfection. This is about understanding. Oh, okay. Because the way I was pitched it when I was young was, you need to follow this rule, that rule. You need to be perfect. You need to do all these things. And I just never felt that was true. So yeah, I've just been in so many different places in my life, and a lot of it has been internal, you know, a lot of internal work, because the world only approaches me the way I approach myself. So like, that's what I really have to make sure that I'm cognizant of, you know?
Yes. So I saw, when I did my research, I saw on Twitter that you mentioned having lost faith in your journey at some point in your life. Are you willing to share what specific event made you lose faith?
Oh, there's many.
Many?
My relationship with my father, not understanding why that was so so stressful. Like, I was a kid who went to school. I got a job when I was 14. I was an honor roll kid. Like, I was just, and even if your kids are a little bit more challenging or troubled, that doesn't matter, because you're supposed to love your child. So that was, that's the number one aspect of where I just lost that, because, your parents, or supposedly your family, is a lot of your direct connection with God. It's a lot of that. Your family tells you how to handle, is your first kind of, telephone person between you and God when you're first born. So because of the disconnection with me and my father, I think that's how I was angry, and I just didn't understand. I didn't understand why at such a young age I was being thrown to the wayside, and why I was begging to be loved. And so then, of course, I didn't feel loved by God. Like, how can I feel loved by God when I'm not even feeling loved by my own, family members? So it was so much of that. Like, it was definitely, and then, coming back, and this is still a journey, y'all. This is still a journey, because acceptance takes a lifetime sometimes. Yes. It's not a thing that happens tomorrow, because you're still trying to convince yourself. You're trying to talk yourself into peace. You're trying to talk yourself into understanding, why people do certain things. And so, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm so heavy into spirituality, because there is so much unexplainable action, so much unexplainable, you could meet somebody and be best friends with them for 5 years. And then you have one fight and all of a sudden your friendship falls apart. And you're just like, what? I don't understand. And so those things I really needed spirituality for, because logic and rationality cannot explain those things. Like, logic and rationality cannot explain you sitting in that chair and me sitting here right now having this conversation. You have journeyed so much to get to where you are today, and I have journeyed so much to get to where I am today. And so now we're connecting in this moment, so that's why when I meet people, I just honor them for who they are and where they're at. And I always just try to remind myself, okay, like, God put you here in this person's life for a reason. You got to get the lesson, or they got to get the lesson, or maybe you guys exchanging information, and then that's where I'm at now. Not trying to take it so personal, not trying to take it so like, it's not me half the time. It's you dealing with you,
Yes. And it's all about divine transactions.
Yeah.
That's,
oh, I love that.
That's what we are doing all day, every day. Because I was going to ask you, what do you do when you don't find the answer? But you said it, spirituality. That's when you need it, when you don't find the answer. And at the end of the day, the answer that responds to every big life question is divine transaction. That's all we are doing here. We are energy. Everything is energy, and we pass through. So divine transaction.
That's the most beautiful thing ever. I love that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So my research has shown me that you are into multiple spiritual practices. Or like I said, you have a lot of knowledge on the matter. Yet you seem to have a keen preference for astrology. Why so? And can you tell us a little bit about the role that astrology can play in the context of self-discovery?
I feel like God is a poet first, and astrology is my best poetic language. Some people speak through music, some people speak through song, some people speak through dance. And I speak through astrology. I speak through energy. I'm a Scorpio, so it makes a lot of sense. Scorpio is about hidden knowledge, occult knowledge, kind of digging in deep. I'm an avid researcher. I'm a bookworm. So it's, I love discovering what's your motive? Like, how did you end up this way? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. How did we get here? And that's what Scorpio is about, is digging down deep. And I was absolutely with everybody else. And when I first saw a Scorpio video, I was like, oh my God, whatever. Like, I was like, whatever, get out of here with that. I was skeptical. And I studied it by myself in secret, in private, very Scorpio. And I didn't tell anybody. And I was just like studying and studying. And it made sense. All of the things I had been saying, you know how Facebook brings up memories from like 2011. I'm like, damn, I was still saying that in 2011. All the stuff I had been saying, I finally found a conduit. I finally found a pathway in which to express what I'm really trying to say. And it's something that everyone's secretly interested in anyway. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's a neat little party trick. I feel like it's one of those, and it's a great icebreaker, And of course, a lot of people are skeptical because the information has been diluted, watered down. It hasn't been integrated properly into our educational system. So as a person who, I have a lot of life experience, but I have a lot more to go. I've met a lot of people. I have a lot more people to go. And I'm an actor. I'm a student observer of life. I'm observing people and how they act and react and why they do the things they do, what their motive. So this makes all sense. You know what I'm saying? For me, I think Barry Jenkins, writer, director, he does the same thing. He did Beale Street, and he will think of a character, and then at that moment he'll write down their birthday, and then that will be the astrology of the character, and some of those things will play out. And I don't know, it just makes sense to me. I feel like it's my gift. I feel like I can read energy anyway. I've always been able to read energy, but now I have, I guess, the science to put behind the energy. And of course, some people don't want to call astrology a science, but it's based on astronomy. Freud and all of those people studied astrology. That's what their psychology is based off of. I think they had Libra South Node placements. So that's what you can do. But for me, I like to just break it down and keep it simple. Like, you don't have to be smart to really understand. It's just, we're dealing with fire, earth, water, air. Like, which one are you the most of? That's what we're talking about, right? Are you fire? That means you have a lot of energy, you're dynamic, you're always on the run. Are you air? You have a lot of thoughts, you got to communicate with people, you're always on the go, you're always at a friend's house. See, right? Like, are you water? You're always in your emotions, introspective, probably dealing with people close to you. Are you earth? You trying to get that money. You're trying to build a house. You're trying to get all, it just makes sense. And then you start honoring
you. Like, you are a Taurus moon.
Yes.
Cancer, and Cancer rising.
Yes.
Scorpio sun. I did my research.
Yes. I am all emotions and all resources. Like, how can we use our resources properly? Honoring your emotions, being creative, being introspective and reflective, also being a caretaker. But I'm also stubborn. I'm also overly emotional. I'm very sensitive. Okay. Like, these are all things about me. And I'm very feminine, because water and earth are about feminine energy. Air and fire is masculine energy. I just feel like once you have certain ideas or concepts to put with what you're trying to explain, it creates freedom. Yes. It creates liberation for you, especially for my people in the LGBTQ community. It's like, baby, you might just have a lot of Mercury, Uranus. You just like information. For you, it's about connection. It's not about the actual physical presentation of someone. It's literally about their mind or their spirit. And that is beyond the physical. And so That's why I love using astrology. And of course, it can show you how to make money, which is amazing. And it could show you, you know, your relationship with your family, your lovers, your children. It can just bring a lot into clarity. It can also tell you the themes for the next year. Like, should you move this year? You could move this year, but you might end up in a little bit of debt. Next year might be a better year to move for you. You might get a better break or a better deal on a house. So those are the things that astrology really can be used for.
So there's one big thing that I love about this whole conversation is how many times you mention God. Please tell the people, and tell the people in the back, especially that make a lot of noise. Tell us why God and astrology go hand in hand. Tell us about that.
Listen, I'm not, you know, I don't want to force anybody to believe anything. I'm a student of find what works for you. I believe there's something happening in the background. We call it God. That's just the word we use. It's a word. And yeah, I feel like if you believe that God made the moon, made the stars, made the water and the rivers and the land and the this and the that, then if our ancestors who did not have Wi-Fi, GPS, and they were just using land and maps and stars to navigate their lives, there's something to be said of that. And I'm a Taurus moon, and Earth people deal with nature. This is why, you know, being grounded or dealing with herbs and things like that, this is very important. When did we get so disconnected from the earth? And now that's why we have so much climate this and pollution that, because we are so disrespectful to Mother Earth. And this is a huge lesson we're going to have to learn as a collective. We cannot disrespect our home. So I feel like God is I feel like God has a lot to do with what we're doing, but God is just sitting back. Like, what you gonna do? That's how I really feel it is, because a lot of people think that we should be being saved. And mind you, we're still in the age of Pisces, and Pisces deals with religion. This is why people are so spiritual, but yet nobody wants to take any responsibility for anything, because Pisces just likes to project and be like, oh, it'll go away. No, we have to do the work to make it go away. You see what I'm saying? Like, we actually have to make it work. But with God and astrology, just like God comes through music, through fashion, through a birth of your child, through a premonition, through whatever you can't explain, in my opinion, and it makes you feel good and it makes you feel like, okay, you got my back, that's God, you know. And astrology is just, again, another tool that God has given us to use. So tarot is the same thing. You know, numerology is the same thing. God will have many people. God is going to have a lot of people doing a lot of different things. If there's a lot of energy readers, we can't all be reading the same type of stuff. We need different people to do different things. Yeah. We need people to do chakra. We need people to do Reiki. We need people to do, you know, spiritual readings and spiritual baths or whatever the case may be. So that's why I don't try to push religion on anyone. I say, just go for what makes you feel good. Go for where you hear God the clearest, meaning that God is clarity. God never confuses. God never creates fear. That's not what it's about. It's about truthfulness, honesty, and surrender to the process, you know? And so for me, God shows me through astrology, baby, just surrender to the process. We got a plan over here. I got a plan for you. I already told you exactly what you want to do. Just follow this plan right here. This is your map. Here you go. And have a good journey. So that's how I feel it all interconnects, you know? And if you look at any other religion, the history of religions, it's literally the same story from every other religion. You know, it will tell you this one person did this and that person did that. And it's all the same. I don't care what you call it. As long as it makes you feel good and safe, that's all that matters.
I love this. And I'm going to say, I love your energy. Like, you are pouring into me right now. Like, I'm hyped.
I'm hyped too, girl. I be sweating. My Aries know got me sweating. I don't know. It's like when I speak to people, and that's how I know it's spiritual, because I can't stop. You know, I'm like, yes. Get the message out. Because it doesn't matter if somebody hears 3 minutes of it or a sentence of it, that might be the message that propels them to the next step, you know, and we are just all messengers and constant student, teacher, teacher, student, whatever the case may be. That's just what we're doing here. Like you said, what do you call it? Divine
Transaction.
Divine transaction. So like this is a divine transaction.
Yes. So in a few words, what was the most mind-blowing or life-changing lesson that astrology taught you, be it about yourself or other people?
You can't outrun your fate. You cannot outrun astrology is just like anything else. It doesn't, it's not, what is it called? It's not racist, it's not classist, it's not sex. It's that it doesn't care. It's gonna come and get you, whatever you got going on. Like energy is energy. And that's what I learned about astrology. And if you're willing to work with it, it really can work in your favor. And if you're working against it, that's when life gets harder.
I love this. So next question, I think is my favorite because I think it's going to speak to a lot of people in the society that we live in, and especially as a Black woman. How do you manage to live your mystical truth? Like, do you face a lot of judgment regarding that side of yourself? And when I talk about judgment, I also mean judgment coming from the entertainment industry. How do you handle it? Is there anything that you wish you could respond to that, but never had the chance to say or never dared to say, actually? Go ahead.
I feel as if, there's always going to be something to say. You're always going to have an opinion on something and someone and something. But again, like for me, I really believe that everyone is playing their role the way they should be playing it, and I have to trust that. And that's why I choose to be a performer, because everyone's entrance is at the right time in your life. So as a person who uses astrology as a tool for compassion and understanding and an explanation, like, why are you like this? Hold on, let me look. Oh, okay. Okay. It makes a lot of sense now. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I have so much more. I've always had a lot of leeway for people, but I have so much more leeway for people. Now, I'm not going to be friends with everybody. Now, that's not what I'm saying. But everyone's playing their position. Everything that's happening in our lives, pandemic, all of these things is part of the process. And so I'm just a person who has to honor the process. And yeah, man, I try not to get caught up in anything too much. I have Mars in Aquarius, so I just be detaching myself from stuff. I'm like, it's not that deep. It really isn't, because in 10 years from now, we won't even remember what this fight was about or what you were mad about. It really doesn't matter. So I just try to honor the fact that people are trying to process their own feelings all day. And that's really what social media is. It's a big ass journal for everybody just processing their feelings. And, I don't want to be in a place where I'm judging people for their feelings. I don't respect online bullying. I don't respect hate and all that other stuff. However, I just want to use my time more wisely. Like, life is way too short. Well, life is too short to try to convince people that you belong somewhere or that you should be respected. And, you can choose your time more wisely in different ways. So that's how I feel about it. Like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So let me just have fun,
I love this. So if I want to really dedicate this question to Black women. So if a Black woman came to you and told you, Novi, this is who I am one of yours, but I don't know how to be myself, what tips or advice would you give her?
Turn social media off, unfollow everyone. Turn your notifications off, turn anything off where people are begging for your attention. I turn my notifications off, I think during quarantine, and I've missed appointments. I've done things, I've missed things, but let me tell you, I have so much more peace of mind because I'm not into like this thing, and then also just kind of reworking what you really want. First, you have to turn the noise down. That's the number one step. You just have to turn it all the way down. That means detaching yourself from everyone. So, tell your family and friends, the people you respect and love, hey, y'all, little sabbatical, love y'all, whatever, because I believe communication is key. People love and care about you. So you should let people know what's going on. You don't have to deep dive, but you need to detach, turn down the noise. You need to then sit and meditate and think about the simple things that bring you joy. This might be a walk on the beach, grabbing a hula hoop, taking a bike ride. It's just very simple stuff. I know it seems extreme, but this is something probably your therapist or your counselor will tell you to do, something simple, and go back to nature. Those are the three things that I really think people should do. And I'm not a nutritionist or doctor, but fasting, I think, is also extremely helpful. So detoxing, fasting, not just from food, but from people,
Yes,
from opinions, you know. And then the other tip I would give is release, cry. You know, you got to let that out. And if you haven't let yourself cry in a while, that's probably creating some of that disconnection, because we're 75% water. It needs to cycle out somehow, some way. So those are some of the things that I do. And I think it really keeps me in a space of just like focus and what I'm passionate about. And then I don't get deterred by what other people are doing.
You just make it about you. Like,
I make it about
me, myself, and I, and that's all that matters. I love y'all, but I got to put me first.
me. And then I put out what I like. And then that's it. You know, I'm not looking for anything else. That's why I did the Conversations and Constellations, because it's what I like. You know, nobody asked me to do it. I did it. So it's, you know, that's one of the things. And now it's going to become its own thing as time progresses. But I mean, if I would have listened to anybody else and, you know, people were like, oh, astrology is stupid or whatever, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. So.
Nope. Speaking of conversation and constellation, your new Aquarian baby. So for those who are not familiar with Conversation and Constellations, this is Novi Brown's new show, a web series, which in her own word is a show that teaches us about our charts and where she connects with people and their charts. It's now streaming on YouTube. You just released episode 3 yesterday, which was very emotional. Very emotional. I love it. I just love it. I gotta say, Novi, and I think I'm speaking on behalf of the whole community to say this. Thank you for the work and the dedication that you put into the show, because it is such a high quality content show. The sets are amazing. It is like, when I watch this, I feel like I'm on vacation. It's amazing. I feel like I'm in a new realm. Thank you, because even the depth of your guests, your own depth, everything is amazing. So thank you for that. And I want to know something about the show before we go a little deeper into it. Do we need to be astrology experts to watch it?
No, you do not need to be astrology experts at all to watch it. I highly recommend people come over who don't know about astrology, because that you're actually my target audience. I want to see how good I can get at simplifying the energies and bringing in people who don't know about it to but of course I also speak in terms for people who study astrology, so that they can have dialogue and they can also see themselves, or people who kind of use it as a hobby but don't really know, you know, and they'll get interested in growing their knowledge for themselves, because I really feel like you can be your own astrologer and, like, you know, do your own thing and help yourself out, help your friends and family out around you, things of that nature. But no, guys, you don't have to know everything at all. I don't know everything. Please, for the love of God, I'm still learning. I'm still reading every single day. And yeah, the point is just to have an open dialogue and a conversation, and to show how energies can play out in the same energy can play out in different vibrational ways in your own life. And so, and also just making you know you're not alone. You're not alone. The show is to let you know, like, you are not alone. If you've gone through homelessness, if you've suffered, you know, abuse, if you suffered, you know, divorce, if you've gone through any of those things in your life, having a disconnection with God, you know, your sexuality, whatever it may be, addiction, you know, you're not alone. You're not alone. And everybody goes through these things. And so I just want to not I want people to stop feeling shameful and guilty for how they transform, you know, and how they get to the other side. So it takes a lot.
Again, can you say that again?
I don't want people to feel guilty or shameful for their process and what it takes to transform to get to the other side. That's not what I'm trying. I want you guys to feel good about it, you know?
That was beautiful. That was really beautiful. How did you come up with the idea?
I came up with the idea because, oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Wait, where'd I go? Okay, there you go. I came up with the idea because I started I had a Twitter a while ago, just like everybody else, but I never was on Twitter. I started tweeting for the show Sisters that I'm an actress on. And because I don't have anything else to, like, I'm not one of those people who's going to keep repeating myself all the time. Oh, watch this, watch this, watch this. One day I just tweeted out, oh, a psychologist should study astrology, and it went viral. And, you know, it was a whole discussion. It was a whole thing. And I just started tweeting out my little astrology facts because I didn't have anything else to do on Twitter. I was talking about sisters and I was talking about astrology. Those are the two things I felt like talking about. And yeah, that community just started growing. And then it came to a point where, you know, people were like, Novi, what about this? What about that? And then we were discussing things. And then I would see people discussing with themselves. Oh, I've never experienced that. Well, actually, there was the one time in college where, oh my God, wait, I think I just realized something about myself. And it was these, I don't know. I feel like if you ask the right question, people will journey to the answer for themselves. You know, you don't have to tell people who they are. You got to just ask them the right question so they can answer it themselves. And I felt like that's what it was, you know. And out of those conversations I was having with my Astro fam, I was doing lives and I was doing my, you know, answering questions for people, and then realizing, damn, I wish I could do something more long format, because a reading really can take hours. You know, it really can take hours. So damn, you know, Twitter doesn't give me that many ways to explain this. So I was just sitting with my partner one day and we were talking, and I said, you know, what if we turn this into something? And he came up with the name Conversation Constellations. I was like, that's such a great freaking name. I love that, because it doesn't sound like I know astrology and you don't. Like, I don't nobody like that. Like, nobody likes that. It's just a conversation. We just talk about energy. And yeah, that's how it came up. And then because of my growth on the platforms, I had a bunch of Astro fam and people were feeling really comfortable. People were releasing very, very, very traumatic things. And, you know, people were making friends on my platform. And I just said, wow, maybe there's something here. Like, maybe, I don't know. And then I just put it together. We filmed 3 episodes last year. We did another 7 episodes this year. We put together a trailer and I dropped it because I'm secretive, like a real Scorpio, and I didn't tell nobody about it. And I made it. And my Astro fan members participated. I literally just tweeted out like, oh, would you be willing to get your chart read on camera? And that was it. Or I did it in my Patreon, because I have a Patreon page where I literally put my research up there so people can interact with me and I talk to them and I guide them through things and stuff. That's how it came up. And I said, what would this look like? And so then my partner was like, we need it needs to look like an Oprah show. And he's amazing at what he does, and he produced everything and made it look the way it does. So thank you guys for the compliment on the aesthetics, because that was all him. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this is gonna go, because the first episode got almost 6,000 views. You know, that's insane. Like, I don't think anyone's really created something like this before. I could be wrong. You know, I think Walter Mercado is like the closest person to do something like this. And I just wanted people to speak for themselves. You know, as astrologers, we're always giving you the information, but why don't you let me know how it showed up in your life and how it played out? And, you know, what does it look like? And when those stories started coming out, you know, people said, oh my God, that was me too. I experienced something similar. No way. Da, 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 da. Okay, well, I know what I have to do now. I know which direction I have to go. I feel so empowered. I feel alive again. You know, wow, I'm 58 years old and this was a part of my journey. Now I know what I have to do. That's what I want. Like, I want people to feel empowered. you know?
So you were curious to know where the show was going to go, but is there somewhere you wish the show to go?
Yeah, I wanted to go. I would love it to go on a streaming service, like, like a Netflix or maybe a Hulu, Apple TV, somewhere big. I want it to be big. I want it to be taken very, very seriously as a talk show.
Well, I already know it's going to be taken seriously. And I know that because of how seriously you take it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it looks like a real talk show.
Thank
The
you.
quality of it all, it is a real talk show. So, I mean, it's a matter of time. I think it's a matter of time.
I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm grateful. That's what our vision was. I said, I want to, quality, top quality Taurus moon. Like, I need the qualities. Like, people got to see I'm serious about mine. So yeah, I just want to create something that I would be proud of, and that other people would enjoy. And so I feel, and then also just media is such a powerful tool. So if you combine media with like kind of their format, how they, work the media world with astrology, it could start being taken more seriously. And then things like Reiki and shiatsu and massage and, cryotherapy and acupuncture and all these things can start becoming regulated. And maybe we can even get that in the healthcare system. So then we can get that taken care of, and then we can really take care of ourselves. Yeah. That's really what's important for me. Mental and spiritual health is like at the top for me, because I would never be where I am if I was not consistently advocating and working on it.
So yeah, you want to raise the awareness as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did it take from you, spiritually speaking, to make this show happen?
It takes everything. Like no sleep, tears, arguments about time and like, freaking out, being scared. Is this stupid? Am I making the wrong decision? Am I, it's all the emotions. It's every emotion that you would ever feel, of course. Are people going to be interested? People will people watch it? Are people going to support it? Is this dumb? Am I wasting my money? Am I wasting my time? Like, what am I, all the emotions. And then there's people.
Oh, Novi.
People that I do private readings for. Am I really qualified to be speaking on this? Because I know there's people who've been astrologers for 30, 40 years, but then again, you got to remember, like, if it's for you, it's yours. It's just, if it's yours, it's yours, And so that's really what I'm trying to practice with this. I'm trying to practice that fearlessness. I'm trying to practice trailblazing. I'm trying to practice, taking a chance on myself. Hopefully we go 10, 15 seasons, hopefully inspires other people to make their own more healing content in the same kind of way. So
I'm glad you spoke about the seasons, because I was wondering, how many seasons do you wish to film?
But I want a lot.
You want a lot. You deserve a lot. You deserve a lot. Do you have a dream guest?
Yes. Samuel L. Jackson.
Every time I see Samuel, do you remember that BET commercial where he's dressed as Nicki Minaj and he goes like, bees in the trap, bee?
No, I never seen that. See, this is what I love about him. He does so many different things and he's older. I definitely want to talk to a couple older people who've lived a bit. And so I can see what that full chart looks like. You know what I mean? What that full conversation. And Sam has lived his life so out loud and he's done so much for us in the entertainment field. So yeah, I think he would be a phenomenal guest. Like, I think he would be great.
Hopefully he reads the interview and he sees it. I'm proud of you. This whole conversation, this divine transaction is also a whole manifestation process. We are speaking things into existence right here.
Existence.
Putting it out, let the universe catch it and do whatever it wants with it.
Right, throw it away.
Correct. Okay, so Interesting question for you. Does Conversation in Constellations pops up somewhere on your astrological charts? Like, do you see it in your charts?
It's interesting because yes and no. I mean, I have a stellium in the 5th house in Scorpio, so I'm supposed to create something anyway, entertaining, because that's what the 5th house is, but in a scorpionic way. So I think I'm very much on my path, and my North Node is in the 11th house. So I did it on the internet and my own community and all these other things. I think I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I am. I feel as if it's going well. So yeah, astrologically, I hope I'm on the right path,
But
somebody predicted a few years ago. They said, in the next 3 years, we're going to see a Black woman with her own astrological show. And I had seen that tweet and I had pinned it because I was like, that's going to be me. Like I already had envisioned it in my head.
That tweet has come to find you. But in what about intuitively? What makes you say that you are on the right path intuitively? What does it feel like to be on the right path?
Well, being on the set, and when everybody, because I've been on several sets, and just how everybody believed in it. No one really knows about astrology. My partner doesn't really know about astrology, but they all believe in it because they see what it does for other people. And that's all the proof you need. Even though it might not be valuable to me in my life, it's valuable to you. And I see the shift and the change for you. So that's what it was when there were men on the set talking about like, oh, well, maybe I want to get in the chair. Like, I want to sit down, I want to talk. And it's hard to impress people who are in the camera world because they see everything. They're always filming all the stuff. So for them to see something new and for them to say, I want to be a part of this, because when you're filming something, most of the time you're performing and you're putting on for the people that are in the room, because you never know if it's going to reach outside of the room. So just to see their interest in it, I had all different ages, sexualities, genders. I had all different types of people on my crew, and for everyone to express some type of interest in the show and making it and feeling good about what they were making. I was like, okay, we're doing something here, and then people were coming back to set with a smile on their face. And they were like, yeah, we're going to come help. Like, oh my gosh. And then somebody on set told us, they said, if you need help selling this, let me know. And that's what the show hadn't even been out yet. Like, what? So that's how I think, that's how God talks. God, listen, good job. This way.
All the little rewards, like, this is your clue. This is your clue. This is your clue. This is giving me goosebumps because this is also something I experience when I do celebrity interviews. Don't ask me why I really want to do celebrity interviews, because celebrities inspire me, because I know they are regular people, yet they manage to make something of themselves, of their art, of their work. And whenever I find myself next to a celebrity, again, they're pouring into me, and they make me believe in myself.
Yes.
So I get what you say when you I just get it. I just get it. And I'm so happy for you. This makes me so happy, like genuinely happy for you.
Me too. Thank you.
Genuinely happy for you.
I'm just happy it touches people. Like, that's all. You know?
It's really touching because, again, like I'm listening to you talk and say all of this, and I can feel how happy and proud of yourself you are. And ultimately, it makes me proud as well. I don't know you, you don't know me, but girl, damn, I'm so proud of you. Like,
thank you so much. That's a big deal for me, and I always try to, because family is a thing. I'm a Cancer rising, so it has a lot to do with family. And a lot of times you think that blood has to be your family, but I just find so many family out in the world, like people who are really, we're connected. Like you said, this has already been destined way before. And because we chose the path that we chose, now we're here. And this is just one of our many conversations. Like, I know for me, all the people I'm meeting right now especially through media, I'm building relationships with these people, because we're all going to be 60, 70 years old one day talking about, oh my God, I remember You started the podcast, girl. Yes, remember when you had your first TV show, girl? Oh, yes. I can envision it in my head. So that's why I get so excited to speak with people. And I get so excited to say, like, okay, who am I going to meet? Because you guys are playing a huge part in my personal journey. Not nothing else, but just my personal journey, you know? So I'm just grateful that we get to do this kind of stuff. And you shoot, like, look at life. It's crazy. Life is wild. Don't get it twisted. Life is crazy. But there's a lot of beautiful moments that we really can find.
There's a lot to be grateful for. That's true. When I scroll down your Twitter page and then they take into consideration the fact that you just launched a show that is not only dedicated to, but also involves the collective. And when I see you like sitting here with me and giving me a time to do this interview, what I see in you is like a glowing soul that is very giving. Is it important to you to give as much as you can of yourself to others?
It's very important for me, but I won't do it at the detriment of me, because you won't get the best version of me. So it's, you know, you can only give from what you grow for yourself. So I always say like when I'm talking astrology, the 4th house is the root and the 10th house is the fruit. So this is the fruit that I'm giving you right now, because I've been taking care of the root, tending the root, making sure it's okay. So that when I come outside, I have something to pluck off and I have something great to offer you. But if I'm barren and if I'm drained and if I'm dry, I can't do that. So it's so important for me to first pour into myself. And that will naturally have me pouring into other people, because my curiosity for self-discovery is what led me to astrology now, which allows me to pour into the collective, because I'm doing all the inner work. I'm doing all of that for myself first. So yes, because I'm a social being, we don't do teamwork makes the dream work is one of my favorite quotes, because I really believe that, I believe we can move better if we work together. I really believe that. But everybody else's journey is different and everybody might not believe the same thing, and that's fine. But yeah, I feel like so many people have poured into me. I just think about my mom and all my mom's friends and all my friends. My best friend, he was just over here earlier. He used to drop off groceries to my house because I didn't have no money, and I didn't have no food. So, and now the tables have turned. And not in that way for him, but now I'm in a position to help him with his dreams, what he has going on. So it's really beautiful thing to give and to receive. That relationship as a human being is really lovely, but you have to find for yourself what that looks like. And for me, what it looks like is making conversations and constellations, because, I felt as if I could sit here and I could read people's charts individually, or I could create this larger conversation and platform to maybe spark people's curiosity into this. So how many more people can I reach, And so that's the catalyst of this. I said, oh my God, more people got to find out about this. I got to tell more people. And so that's where the Conversations and Constellations came from, because I found out, I poured into myself and I said, okay, now I understand. Now let me give back to the collective. And that's where I'm at now. So now I'm just like, okay, y'all, what y'all need to know? Okay, like, let me tell y'all,
Yeah, so you grow secretly and then
I give what I've grown.
Yes, when you reach that state of abundance is when you give out, like you give away. Like a tree. Yeah. The image of the tree is really it's really good. I'm sorry, I'm a native French speaker, so sorry?
Perfect language.
Oh, thank you. I also live in Belgium, like right next to your home country. Like yes. So last question. So to close this interview, I am curious to know, how do you picture the popularity of esoteric tools and practices in the future? Is there anything you are excited about or anything that you fear?
Well, I know that with Neptune and Capricorn, that's like a whole generation of people. You know, Capricorn rules business, Neptune rules the abstract. So people are going to have more spiritual businesses. I really hope we get to have like spiritual colleges and vocational schools. I really hope that it becomes part of our education. Oh, here, take an energy class, take a Reiki class, take a nutritional class. Just kind of how to manage yourself as a human being. You know what I'm saying? I really hope that we do more of that. I hope there's going to be more group discussions where people feel comfortable sharing trials and tribulations, which I think social media definitely has created a space for that. Obviously, the fearful part is all the people who don't have good intentions getting the information and misusing it, but that's out of our control.
Yeah.
You know, not in our control. If that was true, then I'd be sitting in the corner in a hermit and never speaking on this ever. I'd never get information out. But that's not my job. My job is to relay the information and to trust in God, that God has an overall plan, because I'm not smarter than God. I always tell people we can't outsmart God. God already got it written out. So just follow the plan, you know, and then trust that your passion, whatever you are truly passionate about, is going to come from your soul, and people will eat well off of that. You know, I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it. So I have no dog. I got to give you this information. It's coming from my heart. It's literally coming from my heart space. So if you find something that's passionate coming from your heart space, then that creates a world of more safety. But first, we have to get through a lot of the other stuff first. And so that right now is discovering hidden knowledge, discovering a lot of things we haven't spoken about, discovering the things that run us psychologically in the background that we don't, you know, that white noise that we don't really want to discuss. That's the state that we're in, you know, because my mom is always like, oh, why you always talking so much? Why you always got something to say? I said, because I never said nothing in your generation. And so now we're stuck with all the secrets. And so now we have to talk about it.
Yes. That's funny you say that. My mother, she told me the same thing, because I had a really complicated relationship with my mother when I was younger. She never allowed us to speak our minds. Like, we couldn't say anything because we were kids and she was the mom, so she was automatically right. And recently I told her, see, our relationship is getting better. Like, I now do enjoy spending time with you. I would literally go on vacation with you, which I wouldn't have done like a couple of years ago.
Oh, right.
And she told me, yeah, that's because you're starting to communicate more. And I'm like,
ma'am. Oh. You said, ma'am, I've been.
I'm like, no, you are just starting listening to me. That's the other way around. She's a Cancer. Very.
Listen. You caught up in her. Huh? And you're a Gemini, and you're like, all I want to do is talk to you.
Yes, I'm a Gemini, Virgo rising, and Pisces moon.
Oh, good. Those are good placements.
Yes, I have a lot of Mercury in my chart. Yes. I need to communicate. I need to
have to speak. Yes.
So yeah, but that was just a little anecdote.
And the thing is, if your parents knew about that when you were young, they were then able to foster that and harvest that communication by maybe putting you in debate class, or having you learn different languages, or having you, or you guys doing word play or playing, you know what I'm saying? Having games with words be a part of your dynamic as a family.
Yes.
And that would have fed your energy as a communicator, you know? And so now look at what you're doing with your whole entire life, having conversation with other people, because that's what you've been feeding. That's literally in your soul since you were born, you know? It's beautiful.
It's the same thing as you know, when you said something at the beginning of the conversation, and that reminded me of Oprah's latest book, just the title, What Happened to You? Tell me what happened to you. I want to know. I want to get to know you. I want to understand you. And I want to shed light on parts of yourself that you are unable to see, because I am a mutable person, because all my placements are mutable signs. I want to show you through myself who you are. I also want to show you who you can be. Like, I want to show you, like, spread in front of you all the possibilities that your life can be.
Yes. And you don't, you could change your mind, which is which is a beautiful thing, you know?
But yeah, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Like, I really appreciate it. 1 hour of your time is really precious, and you spend it with me. I'm super duper grateful. Can I ask you for